Welcome to the Ziglar Show. I'm your host, Kevin Miller. Today, we're going to listen to a 2-minute clip from Zig on the power of words, then have a brief discussion. If you're with me here right now live at theziglarshow.com, which is our live show page on Facebook, I'll be watching the comments. Some of us were already commenting here a minute ago and looking for questions or comments after this clip on how you are getting positive, encouraging words into your mind and heart, how you are dealing with or distancing yourself from negative words, and how you're doing your part to give others the power of your words. If you post in the comment section below here on Facebook, below the video, I'll respond to you right here in the show, and we'll talk through it a little bit. I do want to quickly mention before we take off, last week we celebrated Zig's 88th birthday by giving away a free download of Born to Win, the Born to Win book written by Zig Ziglar and his son, CEO, and last week's guest, Tom Ziglar, who will be with us most of the time on these shows. But with that offer, we're inundated. We had over 64,000 people sign up to download that book. First off, thank you. Thank you all. So inspiring to see the desire for the Ziglar message and principles. The influx did cause us some tech issues, and we're following up with everyone who registered to make sure that you did get the book. So if you did, we are trying to make sure that you did get your book. Now, real quick before we start off, last week we called it the Reviving the Ziglar Show. The Ziglar podcast has gone on for a long time, but it has been dormant for almost a year and a half. I'm here bringing it back to you, and had a lot of people ask, who am I? My name is Kevin Miller, and you can find out real quickly anything you want about me at agentkmiller.com. Agent K as in Kevin Miller.com. But I'm here for a few reasons. I'm a fan of Ziglar. I grew up on it. I have a faux leather goals planner, blue, from the early 1980s that I got as a kid and stood in line for a long time to have Zig himself sign that thing. Later on, as my dad became well known, my dad, some of you may know Dan Miller. He wrote the book 48 Days to the Work You Love, a best-selling book on careers and work that is promoted a lot by his buddy, Dave Ramsey, who's been a family friend for as long as I can remember. As he got to know the Ziglars somehow. I don't know how exactly, but I somehow through my dad got to know Tom Ziglar. And the past 5 years, I have worked with a company that I founded called freeagentacademy.com. It's an online paid membership for people pursuing self-employment. Free Agent Academy, thus the Agent K Miller that I often use with my moniker there. But I got to know Tom. He invited me on, and some of you guys may have seen me. I hosted or was the guest on a Success 2.0 show, actually 2 of them over the past couple of years. So I was in great company with folks like Brian Tracy and Dave Ramsey and Dan Miller on that show. And I got to host that, got to know Tom more, got to know the team more. And it was sometime earlier this year that I was talking with Tom and just about where Ziglar is right now. Obviously, Zig passed away, kind of a new era for Ziglar. And what we're seeing is the Ziglar brand and the message is going through the roof. Facebook alone has been accelerating like crazy with Ziglar quotes on inspirational posters, and things are just growing. And I was asking why and what we can do to get the Ziglar message to a younger audience as well. And through some of those talks, I was incredibly honored to have Tom invite me to take a role with Ziglar. And I am currently what we call me is the brand ambassador and marketing strategist for Ziglar, BAMS for short. But I do a lot of just working with the overall brand of Ziglar and the overall messaging, and just incredibly honored to be a part of the team again, and honored to host this show, which is why you're here right now. So again, just a little background on me if you're wondering who it is to be hosting the Ziglar Show. I'm Kevin Miller. You can find out anything more you want to know about me and connect with me at agentkmiller.com. But now, what you're here for, I'm bringing you Zig Ziglar himself. This, again, is a short clip on the power of words. Then we're going to listen to it, and then we are going to discuss right here on Facebook at at ZiglarShow.com. We are going to talk about it. Okay, let me cue this thing up. Let's see if we're ready to go. Here we go.
I'm Zig Ziglar with your encouraging word for the day. You know, words make such a huge difference in our lives. They're absolutely powerful. I love what Charles Osgood, the word merchant of CBS, frequently says. He says, you know, compared to the spoken word, a picture is a pitiful thing indeed. Words can generate warmth and affection and love and encouragement. And when they're spoken, they make an even bigger impact on people's lives. What the little girl had to say was so true. She said, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can break my heart. I might add to that, and those words also can lift you to the heights. I love what Helen Keller wrote many, many years ago, and I read them to you because what a powerful set of words these are. She said, I learned a great many new words that day. I do not remember what they all were, but I do know that mother, father, sister, teacher were among them. Words that were to make the world blossom for me like Aaron's rod with flowers. It would have been difficult to find a happier child than I was as I lay in my bed at the close of that eventful day and lived over the joy it had brought me, and for the first time longed for a new day to come. As you know, Helen Keller was both blind and deaf, and she was writing about the day Anne Sullivan came into her life. In just 91 words, Helen Keller eloquently expressed the joy and hope Anne Sullivan gave her, and that she in turn gave countless others. Because she found hope and lived her life to share it with others, Helen Keller finished exceptionally well. You can too. Be a hope giver and experience hope yourself. And I will see you at the top.
There's classic words from Zig right there. How are you getting positive, encouraging words into your mind and heart? How are you dealing with or distancing yourself from negative words? And then how are you doing your part to give others the power of your words? We're going to be continuing this same perspective next week on another, and I think honestly, even more powerful clip from Zig. But those of you who are with me live, if you want to throw anything out in there in regards to this message and this truth, how it's impacted your life or how you're struggling with that now, please do so. And I will see you over here in the comments section. Now, a couple of things I want to pull out from that clip. It's interesting. He says, compared to the spoken word, a picture is a pitiful thing indeed. And I thought that was interesting in light of what's happening on Facebook right now. Facebook is being talked about more and more as it's a depository for people to upload their photos. That is the number one thing that happens on Facebook. Not quotes, not words, not text, I should say. But at Ziglar.com, the Facebook page, facebook.com/Zig Ziglar, it has been incredible to see the proliferation of his quotes, but they are posted in an image. That's really just indicative to the vehicle and that Facebook is today. People take images first, and if they see an image that is enticing, then they'll read the words, they'll read the text, they'll read the encouragement, the words as Zig talks about here, and use it to inspire their lives. So we are utilizing that aspect of pictures, but they just hold these captivating words that Zig is best known for, is beloved for, and handing out to people with encouragement. Now, on that, there are so many people desiring that encouragement. Seems that there's a bigger void than ever of people actually getting those encouraging words in their specific lives. That's why they are gravitating towards looking for those words from a guy like Zig Ziglar and the Ziglar company. So that's happening on Facebook. If you want to get those daily, obviously a lot of those of you who are with us here are from Facebook. So facebook.com/Zig Ziglar. Now you can also find us. Some of you like the channel of Twitter, and that's where you like to participate. Almost every poster that's on Facebook, every motivational quote also goes on to Twitter. You can find us there at twitter.com/Zig the Zig Ziglar. And I'm also giving these out because there's a lot of people out there who are somewhat counterfeiting the Ziglar message on their own channels. And on one hand, we love that. We love to see the proliferation. But sometimes people use it for other means, and people are wondering, who is the real Zig Ziglar? Where's the real resource? So there you go, twitter.com/the Zig Ziglar. We're also on Instagram, instagram.com/the Zig Ziglar. Now, one other thing I wanted to pull out in that quote there, because we want people to be able to engage with what Zig is offering and to digest it as much as possible. And so when he says something that you may not understand, we're going to try to pull it out. He makes a mention in there from Helen Keller that she makes a quote as, "Made the world blossom for me like Aaron's rod with flowers." And I first heard that, I thought, you know what, I might know what she's talking about, but I'm going to make sure. And I went in and sure enough found it. It's in the Bible, which Zig references a lot. Numbers 17, it says, verse 8, "Now it came to pass on the next day that Moses went into the tabernacle of witness, and behold, the rod of Aaron of the house of Levi had sprouted and put forth buds. It had produced blossoms and yielded ripe almonds." So he made a reference to that. If you want to dig in further to that, Numbers 17, verse 8. And again, that came from a quote that he used by Helen Keller. I mean, Zig spent most of his efforts and all of his work on positive, encouraging words. But we know the battle he really waged most was to reprogram people from the unfortunate words of discouragement and negativity that so many have gotten in their youth and as adults. He was such a proponent of removing yourself from an environment of negative words. And that'll come up in our ensuing shows that we can talk about. If you happen to have that type of environment in your work or home, what do you do about it? Now, I'm not here to answer everybody's questions on some of those big questions, but that is a relevant one to take into your own mind and heart right now and to deal with that. What do you do if you have, unfortunately, a spouse or family members, close friends, coworkers who are a flood of those negative words? Obviously, being here, looking for places to fill you with positive words is a big way to battle that. But there's also, and we'll spend more time with this in weeks coming, looking at how do we deal with negative words. Obviously, the best you can do to get away from them, the better. But getting those positive words, that's what Zig was all about. Get those positive words, and if nothing else, drown out the rest. So again, if you want to connect with those words, connect with Ziglar. You can do that at Ziglar.com, on Facebook at Zig Ziglar, and Twitter and Instagram at the Zig Ziglar. Now, I see you guys here in the chat room. I see some friends, Joseph and Ted. Stan, I see you for the first time in there. Thanks so much. And everybody's saying that the sound is coming through here. Well, again, this is the flavor of what's going to be happening every week. Some shows will be a brief 15 minutes like this one today. Some will hit 30, maybe even 40 minutes, depending on the topic, depending on the Ziglar clip. Today, it was 2 minutes long. In the future, it may be 5 minutes. It may be 15 minutes. And then our discussion on that, especially if I've got Tom Ziglar here talking about it, or some guests. We're going to have some of the Ziglar team members in talking about their experiences and walking with people in these messages. And we'll also have some special guests, again, coming up in the weeks prior. We'll let you know about those ahead of time. But then if you want to make sure you don't miss a scheduled show or one that's not scheduled, go to ZiglarShow.com and click the Get New Show Alerts green button there. Now, you guys, if you're in the chat box, if you want to throw any specific questions, please do so. I do see, Stan, you said the Google pop-up is confusing. We are using Google Hangouts. That's a technology we use through a company called 22 Social on Facebook. That's how we broadcast here, where everybody knows how to move around for the most part. There are some things that we're all going to be getting used to, so I apologize for that. We'll try to continue to give you some tutorials on how to make this user-friendly, but for the most part, if you type in ZiglarShow.com, it should come up, and it also comes up brilliantly on your smartphone and any mobile device as well. Now, real quick, though, before we end off today, Ziglar Legacy Certification. A lot of you have heard about that and asked about that. That is something that Tom Ziglar launched this year to equip people to go out and train, lead, and influence others in the Ziglar principles, literally to be certified, licensed to do so. It's a 5-day training. at Ziglar headquarters in Dallas, Texas, to become fully, again, trained in these Ziglar principles, utilizing the Ziglar materials. It's for people who want to positively lead and influence others. It really focuses on the 3 areas: personal development, winning relationships, and achieving goals. There have been 100 people right now. That's why Tom is not with us today in the Ziglar headquarters. There's a group of people. Tom is with them. The Ziglar team is with them, and they are taking them through the Ziglar Legacy certification. That is happening today through Friday. He's there. Now, he's going to bring us something special. This Thursday, November 13th, he is going to be live right in there in the training, and he's going to do a webcast talking about it. In 2015, there are slots open for 150 people to become Ziglar Legacy certified. Certified? How about certified? And I predict that it's going to be pretty soon in the year that those slots will fill up. So if you want to hear what it's about and actually talk with Tom, literally, he'll have a live chat just like we do here today. And if you want to talk to him, ask him questions, or connect with some of the other Ziglar team, I encourage you, Thursday, November 13th, that's this week, that's 3 days from today. If you'll go to Ziglar.com/ZLC, Ziglar.com/ZLC. If you go there, you can register to be live with Tom in that Ziglar webcast for Ziglar Legacy certification this coming Thursday. All right, so you can go on over there right now. All right, well, folks, thank you so much. For those of you, I still see you chatting in Facebook. I appreciate that. We'll continue to increase our engagement here on Facebook with these shows. This is literally what is recorded right now, right here, and put in the podcast, the Ziglar podcast, which is last month alone with no live shows in over a year and a half, had 170,000 downloads. So this is what will be there. Those of you who come and join in with the discussions in the ensuing weeks, you will add so much to this right here. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is the end of the recording. I'm going to stop that. Those of you who are with us in the live video, hang out for a minute and we'll talk amongst ourselves. Have a great rest of the day. All right, folks. Hey, that was it. Joseph, Stan, Ted, I see you guys came in here, Carla, and then of course I can see some of the viewers in some numbers. We've got a bunch of folks watching here. Hey, thanks for being here. That was, I think, 17 minutes. A lot of these shows are going to be fairly short. Some of them, I think, will get into more specific discussions in relation to these clips.